Hello everyone, I hope you are fine. So today we are going to say how to write an article. So first, before we write an article, we should answer this question. So what is an article? Where can we find articles? What are the components of an article? And how do we write an article? So first we start with definition of article. So an article is a piece of writing, contains the opinions and thoughts of the writer, supported by facts and statistics. It is written for specific goals and for a special audience. So where can we find articles? Generally speaking, articles can be published in newspapers, magazines, journals, and etc. What are the components of an article? So before we answer this question, let's read an example of an article. So, The Happiest Day of Your Life by Jimmy Phil. School days should be a happy time in a young person's life. What can make people's life a misery during this time then? In my opinion, there is one word which answers this question: bullying. Unfortunately, bullying is quite common in schools where I live. It can affect students of any age, and both boys and girls. A friend of mine had a very negative experience at school last year, as an older boy continually called him names and sometimes used to post nasty messages about him on Facebook. Obviously, my friend felt very upset about this, and it affected him or his self-confidence. Some days he didn't want to come to school at all. What can people do to stop this problem? Personally, I think teachers need to be aware that bullying may be happening in their classes and be very strict when they have a case of bullying. Another thing teachers should do is prepare lessons to talk about the problem with their students, which might make bullies realize how badly they hurt their victims. As for students, if they find out a possible or a classmate being bullied, they should support them as much as possible and let the teacher know. Bullying can be a nightmare, but there are things that we can do to prevent it. Hopefully, one day all students will be able to go to school without fear of being bullied. So this is an example of an article. As you see, we have the title. Okay, so now we are talking about the components of an article. So it contains a title, introduction, and also a body. And this body, as you notice here, we have two paragraphs. So you are free to write as much as possible of paragraphs in your article. So here, in this example, we have two paragraphs. The first paragraph, the writer tackles the problem, which is bullying. And in the second paragraph, he talks about possible solutions or suggestions. And lastly, we have the conclusion. Okay, so remember these components. So we have the title, introduction, body, and in the body we have paragraphs, and the last thing is conclusion. Okay, now let's move to the practice. Fine. So in this exercise, you have to match each title here with its paragraph. So we have title, introduction, body, and conclusion. So try to match them with these paragraphs. Okay, you might be thinking of these answers. So the title is, of course, The Happiest Days of Your Life. Where is the introduction? Of course, it is the first paragraph. And the body, of course, obviously, this is the body. And of course, the last thing is the conclusion, which is this. Fine? Okay, let's move now to the second exercise. Here you have to reorganize these paragraphs, as you can see on the board, to make an appropriate article. So it's the same paragraph, but it is not organized. So you have to organize them in order to make an appropriate article. Okay, so what is the first thing we should start with? Of course, it is the title. Second one is introduction. The first part or the first paragraph of the body, the second paragraph, and the conclusion. Okay, so thank you very much for being attentive, and see you next time with another lesson.